Framingham Public Schools is partnering with Parent Square to communicate and engage with our FPS community. Download the app in either the App Store or Google Play Store through the QR codes on the screen or with the links in our show notes. Stay involved with your students' learning activities at school from anywhere. Hey everybody, Bob Tremblay back at the Bobcast. In the studio today, I have Kelsey Briselli. Briselli?
Yeah, Briselli.
All right, you got it. I did 18 tries before I got it right. Kelsey Briselli, longtime educator at Dunning Elementary School. Is it 16 years or so? How long?
Yeah, 15. This is my 15th year through.
15th year. And this is not normally how you dress,
Nope.
although I did see you at school
Sometimes.
today, and I did see you wearing this at school today, like running across the courtyard at Dunning as though you were going to battle.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all that you have going on.
Awesome.
In a minute.
Great.
But first, tell us about yourself. And let me just welcome you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
You know, I've had a chance to get to know you a little bit over the years visiting your class, and this energy, this bubbliness, this happiness that you have is every time consistently with you, and your colleagues say the same thing. So, all right, tell us about your bubbly self.
Awesome. Yeah, I am a 5th grade teacher at Dunning. Shout out to Community 33. They told me that I had to shout them out today on the Bobcast. So totally shout out Community 33 at Dunning.
At Dunning.
I have been teaching for 15 years, which is wild to me. I actually did my student teaching with Kathleen Flaherty, who's a 2nd grade teacher at Dunning.
Okay.
And then miraculously got hired after I graduated from Framingham State like the next year. It was just serendipitous and wonderful, and I kind of have just been at Dunning ever since.
That's great. You worked with Jay Goodwin for a while, too.
I worked with Jay Goodwin, who was the very best co-teacher ever. And we just had such a wonderful 8 years span together, and it was awesome.
That's unbelievable.
She's the best.
She is. She's great. She's missed. So tell us, did you grow up in Framingham, though?
I did not grow up in Framingham. I grew up in Wrentham. Went to King Philip Regional High School.
Okay.
We're known for our band.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, excellent. Well, you know, interestingly, if I can interrupt you.
Yeah, please.
Okay, because at King Philip, I was teaching trumpet there. After I was one of my first teaching jobs, but I was doing private lessons at KP Regional. So you're right. That band program, they had multiple tractor trailers for their marching band.
Oh yeah. It was.
Were you part of that?
It was the thing. I was. I played trumpet growing up from 4th grade, all the way through high school.
You still
I got to be part of it. I can still play. My husband likes to say that I take it out for playing taps on Memorial Day every year, and that's basically it.
Well, that's not an easy thing to do, as you know.
No, it's
to pull that out. So do you play just the once a year then for taps?
Yeah. I would like to probably, pick it up. But, I've got some other hobbies that are sometimes taking up some time.
You got a whole lot going on. We should have played some trumpet duet. I haven't played in a while, but we could have played trumpet duet.
I could practice first. That would probably be helpful.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. So you have music as a background.
Yeah.
And so you want to talk about
It's funny. Actually,
this?
Music is kind of how I got into reenacting.
Say more about that.
My best friend forever, I think it was 5th grade, her dad was like, let's go to the Battle of Lexington and Concord.
Sure.
The one that you wake up at,
like
5 in the morning,
or
you got to get there for 5 in the morning. And, it's dark and it's awesome. That's definitely like a bucket list item. If you've never been, you have to go. It's the very best thing.
I've been one time, but it's
awesome.
It's wild.
So we went, and their family ended up knowing someone that was part of the 10th Regiment, which is the group that I'm a part of. And, they kind of joined. And, when you're a kid, you can't join as a soldier that carries a musket. There's like a certain age limit that you have to be.
Okay.
So my friend Allie, she joined as a musician, and she was like, oh, Kelsey, this is so fun. Like, we get to run around outside. You like to run around outside. We need like a bugler. Can you come and be a bugler, musician? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, I'm in. Like, that sounds like a really fun time. So that's actually how I got into reenacting. I was a bugler in the Light Infantry Company, and I got to run around with the guys, and we would, go in battles, and I would just kind of be like this 13-year-old running around with everybody and watching everything happen.
It's just so fascinating. So you think about like sort of reenactments or parades or all of that. You think of like sort of the drum and fife, right?
Yeah.
You think that's more like the Revolutionary War sound.
But that wasn't my thing. Like, I wasn't a drummer. I had no, flute background. So I was like, I don't really fit into the typical music company, which in reenacting so I know there's so many things, but
all of them.
in the British Army, the the musicians actually wear like opposite facings. So if I have a red coat on with yellow facings, the musicians would wear yellow coats with the red facings. So
Okay.
I was actually the only like musician that wasn't wearing the yellow. I was wearing the red coat. So I was actually the first woman and kid in the red coat in our regiment, which is like kind of my claim to fame.
Wow, that's a huge claim to fame.
Yeah.
So did you actually play, or did you fake playing?
I like
bugle?
fake played. Basically, the bugle that they had was one of those that like is an ornament for Christmas that you like put up on the door,
okay.
that like big giant bugle. But
Yeah.
there actually, since then, there are some people that have learned how to play, and they actually play the bugle commands when we're on the field, which is really awesome.
It's really interesting. Did you know that taps being played at for obviously for funeral processions and things in the military, they have so few buglers that they have you seen these? They have
Yes.
inserts that go inside
Into
the horn.
bell, yes.
Boy,
I
that
have.
would be a whole lot easier than playing
be
that
much-
octave and
That would be much easier.
right. They have these
Yeah.
inserts, so you think the person's actually playing taps, but
Right.
in fact they're actually just holding the horn to their face and
Yeah.
there's a
Faking it till you make it. Yeah.
you fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
There's a speaker inside doing all the
I know.
work.
I have heard that.
Fascinating.
I know.
So when would when would you play the bugle? For what reason would you play a bugler in the company?
So one of like the very most important roles in a regiment is the role of the musicians. Oftentimes on a battlefield, it was loud. It was chaotic. It was loud, and someone's voice to give a musket commander a positional command wouldn't be loud enough. So we often relied on the musicians to actually deliver the movement commands or the firing commands. And so every soldier was actually trained on how to fire their musket with the beat of the drum, or move forward at the sound of the bugle. So they actually have certain, notes that they play, or like different rhythms that they play that tell you what to do.
All right, so if I go bum 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 bum, what does that mean? What am I doing?
Well, that means nothing, but like,
I mean, all right.
like there's the firing command. It's like bup 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 bup, and then it's like
All the same note?
Well, yeah. So
Okay.
it's kind of more of the rhythm.
More
So
the
it's like
rhythm.
make ready, present, fire your musket, and that's all done through drum or through bugle commands.
So you didn't have like a musket in one hand and a bugle in the other?
No,
So
no.
you were like, did you?
I was just running around with the bugle basically
y-
because
yeah,
I couldn't fire a musket yet. So
because of your age.
in our regiment, you can't fire a musket till you're 16 years old.
Okay.
So I started at 13. So I had a couple years of kind of running around and just observing it, taking it all in, and seeing all of these kind of really cool things happening on these recreated battlefields.
So at 13 years old, your friend inspired you to do this in the as a musician, getting into this, running around and having a great time, and you've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, 23 years. And I was doing the math on my way over here. 23 years
23
I've been doing
years.
this. It's wild. And so I started off as, the 13-year-old, this like little kid in the regiment. And, you have all these like grown men, because it really is mostly, it's like kind of, for a very long time, it was a boys club. And
Okay.
so there were no women that did reenacting because, there were no women soldiers. So like, why would we have women in a recreated regiment? Like, that doesn't seem to make sense. And so that kind of started to turn. A lot of women started to play as musicians, and then we've slowly kind of infiltrated also being soldiers. So now you see a lot of women that portray a male soldier for reenactments.
So tell us about a day in the life, because you're doing a reenactment. Have you done Lexington and Concord?
Yeah.
All right. So it's like,
Lexington and Concord is amazing.
all right. So it's 3 a.m.
It's 3 a.m.
Well, tell me about your day.
Well, it's funny. We start off, we have donuts and coffee with the Minutemen,
Just like they did,
which
in
is
the 18th
hilarious.
century.
Just like they did in the 18th century.
Sure.
We all get
Dunkin'.
together.
Get a Dunkies.
Yeah, we all sit, we eat, we eat donuts together at 3 a.m. We're having coffee. You're sitting next to the person that like in an hour you're going to go be up against, and we're laughing and we're joking. And it's this wonderful camaraderie of everyone's kind of together. And then at about 4:30, we like start marching quietly. We all meet at the police station up on Mass Ave in Lexington.
Who's keeping
And-
the beat so you know your left and your right?
The drummers.
Oh, so they're just
Yeah.
quietly.
Well, actually, you just kind of like squirrel your way up there. Like you're
Okay,
quiet.
yeah.
You're like, stealth mode.
Okay, yeah.
And
right.
then the big reveal is like around maybe like a little bit before 6 a.m. Usually someone gets a cell phone call.
Just like they did in
And they send,
1775.
right, they
Yeah.
send, I don't know if it's like Paul Revere or William Dawes. They send the guy on the horse, ahead of us. And like, they're coming. They're, watch out. Sound the alarm. And, then it's like, okay, like, it's it's game time, everyone. So, we put on our game faces. And the most amazing thing is you're marching up Mass Ave, Lexington. It's like just starting to, like the sun is just starting to rise, and you can hear the drum beat reverberate off the buildings. And all of a sudden, like you see the crowd of people, like 10,000 people waiting around Lexington Green. And it's this, I always get like chills marching up, and you're like, oh yeah, like this is going to be so awesome. And so we like run on to Lexington Green, and the Lexington Green battle it's 5 minutes.
It's very quick. This is the famed shot heard around the world, right? Isn't this that moment
Yes, this is technically Concord is the shot heard around the world, but we like to say that Lexington was first.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that first conflict between the British, the Redcoats, and the Lexington Minutemen, who are the kind of the guys in the way. And it's the gunshot comes from the musket, from like afar, because they still don't know who shot the first shot. So, there's a musket pop from somewhere, and then all of a sudden all chaos breaks, and, people are firing, guys are falling. It's like chaos, and it's over before you know it. And they beat to arms, and we run back, and everyone gets yelled at because, technically they weren't supposed to break ranks, and they were supposed to no one followed any directions that day. And so that kind of just led to complete and utter chaos.
Wow. So how long before you're, dead?
Well, I mean, technically no British soldiers die on Lexington Green. Luckily, one guy gets injured, and then we march our way to Concord. But the same can't be said on the way back. Tons of guys were killed, because basically what happened was they sounded the alarm, and Minutemen companies and militia companies from all over came to kind of support as the British troops were marching back towards Boston. They kind of just were getting slaughtered on the way back.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So you reenact the whole thing.
We reenact the whole thing.
Like the death, the whole dramatic.
Sometimes. Not necessarily on Patriots Day weekend, but in other battles, yeah, you do get to reenact.
Okay.
Which can be really fun. You're like, all right, like I'm going to take a hit this time, like watch my dramatic death. And you can be as like exciting as you want.
That's
falling
fantastic.
Over. It's quite like theatrical and fun too.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting. You're so passionate and excited about this.
It's very fun. I'm a light infantry
cool.
soldier. So in a British regiment, there were 3 different companies of soldiers. There was the battalion company, they're known as the Hat Company, and they were kind of the biggest group in the entire regiment. They made up the bulk of the soldiers. But then there were 2 kind of specialized companies. There was the Grenadiers, who are these like really tall, 7-8 foot guys. They wear like a tall bearskin, and they were kind of the shock troops. They were scary. They were, mean, and, they were just imposing. And then there were the light infantry, which is like a more skilled group of soldiers that were like a flanking company. So they would go out ahead, and they would kind of see like, okay, what's going on? What can we find? What can we report back? And they actually were trained with a separate manual than the rest of the army, because they had kind of specialized maneuvers. These were the guys that were fighting in the woods. They had more of like a guerrilla style. So their uniform kind of reflects that. So for us in the light infantry, we would wear a leather helmet with the chainmail on the top, so that you're getting, sliced with a sword, that would kind of protect your head a little bit.
Okay. Do you want to put that on or no?
I can put that
I don't want to force you.
No. That's
Did
fine.
you make these?
So I haven't made any of these things. In the reenacting community, people are super passionate about making sure that like their uniform standards are up to date, and that they have the most research for, what was actually, what did the uniform look like? What was it made out of? And so there's a lot of people, it's mostly a hobby for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they do all this research. They look at all sorts of historical documents being like, okay, like what kind of wool was used? What kind of patterns were used? What kind of materials were this made out of or this made out of? So
this is authentic. This is wool.
Yeah,
that you're wearing?
everything is wool. It was hand tailored for me. Someone, made this coat by hand. I think I was saying to the kids today, I think everything is handmade except for maybe like the socks that I'm wearing and then the shirt that I'm wearing. Everything else was made by a person, which is pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's the other hat over
All right,
here?
the other hat is just this is the battalion company hat. This is the Hat Company hat. So this is your like typical cocked hat, which was like your tricorn hat.
Oh, yeah.
And that was what the soldiers in the battalion or the colonel's company or the Hat Company, that's what they would wear. So
Now, so the reenactment's over.
Yeah.
Everyone, 5 minutes of battle. Everyone's down. People have left, and people are going home.
Yeah.
Do you go out and have it and celebrate? And can you do that in your uniform?
The Battle of Lexington and Concord is like a quick one. That's usually like a whole day. Well, it's not a quick one. It is a whole day. It's actually a very long day for us, but
it's over by 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it's over fast, and it's right in that area, and then it's over. But we actually do a lot of encampments, which means that we go and camp out for the weekend. And so we'll get invited to either some historic battlefields or sometimes just like a spot that's kind of historically appropriate, but there wasn't actually a battle there. And they invite us to camp out for the weekend. And we do battle reenactments at the places that we're encamped for the weekend. So it's a whole weekend event. So you set up your tent and you cook over an open fire and you hang out with the guys the whole weekend.
And are you using sort of tents and meals that you would have typically in the late 1700s?
Yeah, generally. Sometimes the kinds of tents that you're using wouldn't have necessarily been like, I have one canvas wedge tent for me, but that would have been shared by multiple soldiers. So it's a little different. Like the way I do it would be a little bit different to them, but it would look very similar. And the meals that we do cook over an open fire. We have a whole in our regiment, it's so wonderful. We have a whole group of civilian reenactors, and they'll come for the weekend and they will do the cooking. And so they are kind of responsible. I'm responsible for like soldierly duties. They're responsible for kind of duties around the fire, around the camp, to kind of make sure that everyone's fed for the weekend, which is amazing. Our regiment's huge. We have about, I think it's anywhere between 50 and 70 people, generally speaking. The 10th Regiment of Foot, which I don't think I have said yet, is His Majesty's 10th Regiment of Foot is the regiment that I belong to.
And how many reenactments do you do, say, in a year?
Oh, we do a lot.
Like more than 10?
Probably around 10, I would say. In the summer, it's about
over 200 reenactments.
It's about like one a month in the summer months. Those are that's our most active time. April to October is our most active reenacting time, which is awesome.
It's fantastic. So before we wrap up to a game in a little bit, tell me about your connection to education. So do you connect this? Obviously, you said you wore this to school today. So the students
oh my gosh, my students were so excited. We haven't really, so 5th grade is awesome because we study the Revolutionary War in 5th grade. So it's kind of nice for me because I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. It's one of my favorite things to do. But it's really fun because anytime you can bring history to life and to show them like, this is what they would actually wear, this is the kind of material they actually had, you kind of see their eyes light up. So like today I was just saying like, oh, like we're going to learn more about this later, but like, this is the uniform and these were the parts of it. And they were just like, wow. This is so cool. So anytime you can bring that into the classroom, that's just going to make them more excited for history.
Yeah.
I had a student the other day. I had her older brother last year. And after our first, couple social studies lessons, she goes, Ms. Briselli, she goes, I finally understand it. I'm like, what do you understand? She goes, I understand why my brother loves history so much. It's because of you. Like you were his teacher last year, and I know why he loves history, and I think I'm gonna love it too. And when you hear something like that, you're like, oh my gosh,
that's the moment, right?
It's wonderful.
I mean, that's perfect. Did you put your cell phone away for the encampment reenactments?
That's one of the best parts of it. So I do. I tend to just leave my phone in my tent and it's truly one of the only times during my entire year that I truly disconnect. And it's so wonderful because you're just around people the whole time. Like your whole day is interacting with people and you get to stop and you get to really talk to people and you get to like know about their lives and you get to hear their stories and you get to laugh and just have a wonderful time. And it's awesome. Like that's one of my most favorite things about it is because we truly are like a family in my regiment and everyone really has a wonderful time together. So when we get to go for the weekend and put our phones away and just spend time with each other, it's really wonderful.
I love your love for life.
It's really great.
I really do. It's terrific. And now here are some reminders from the Framingham Public Schools. Friday, March 21st, all schools will be closed for professional development. Wednesday, April 2nd is a collaboration day for Framingham High School. Lunch will be served and students will be released at 1 p.m. Thursday, April 10th is an early dismissal for grades K through 12 for professional development.
This year is the 250th anniversary of the Battles of Lexington and Concord, which is big. And there's a lot of really exciting things kind of planned for not only the Battles of Lexington and Concord, but all the 250th events that are coming up throughout maybe the next couple of years. The first couple of battles of the Revolutionary War that happened locally, there's big events. So
Okay.
Battle of Bunker Hill, Battle of Lexington Concord are coming up in April and June this year.
So where should we find this information if we wanted to come see you?
If you want to come see us, so redcoat.org is the 10th Regiment's website. We have our whole schedule up there.
Okay.
And you can also check out our YouTube channel. We have the 10th Regiment has a fantastic YouTube channel. There are a lot of really like young guys that are excited about reenacting, and they put together some really cool videos. So those are 2 things I want to plug.
That's awesome. I love it.
Awesome.
All right, let's go to a game. We're going to play a game called Yay or Nay. I know you've seen some previous episodes, so you know what's coming.
I did my homework.
You did your homework. So I'm going to just throw out some topics, and then you're going to react to it, and there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just how you feel about it.
Okay.
All right?
Yay
you good?
Nay? I'm in.
All right, social media. Yay or nay?
Yay, in moderation.
In moderation?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that mean for you, moderation?
I don't know, because you can get sucked in. Like,
you can.
Like that idea of just scrolling for hours.
That's true.
It's a lot.
Okay, cartoons. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay. You have a favorite?
Yeah, I love Star Wars. My other passion besides Revolutionary War,
I think like
Star
a cartoon?
Wars.
Is that what you think of?
Yeah.
I don't think of Star Wars as a cartoon.
Well, there's cartoon Star Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and Star Wars Clone Wars, and those are really fun. It's like a niche kind of thing. You have to really love it. Growing up, oh my gosh, favorite. I did love like Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh yeah, you watched that, like Super Friends.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but. Oh my gosh, I can't think of a particular cartoon. I did like cartoons.
But generally speaking, it's a yay.
Yeah,
it's a yay. Yeah,
definitely
absolutely, right? Mm-hmm. This one I think I already know the answer to because I did a little research, but baking.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
know
to bake.
I
like to bake a lot.
You like to bake, you like to bring things to school.
I love
to share.
It's always fun to bake for your colleagues. It's always, if I can bring a snack to prep, everyone's like, yes, this is awesome.
I love it. I love the culture at Dunning. And your colleagues speak very highly of you bringing candy. You bring a lot of candy too.
We have like a candy stash in our room.
Yeah.
Currently, we have 3 different separate containers for all of our candy, and it's a problem, but we love it.
Right.
Sour Patch watermelons is one of our favorites.
I had Sour Patch Kids today.
Yeah.
Prior to this,
so
and I'm not a candy eater.
Yeah.
But it was a moment of desperation.
It's okay.
Singing.
Yay.
Yay. Do you
singing.
sing karaoke or like you sing in the shower or you sing
all of the above?
I don't think
I've only done karaoke a few times. I was a singer in our high school jazz band too, and I just like to sing.
At KP?
Yeah, at KP.
So you really did it all at KP. I mean, that's an impressive music program.
Yeah.
So the years that I worked there, Peter Tileston was the
Love
director.
Mr. Tileston.
Was he there when you were there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's one of my most favorite educators. He is an inspiration. Love Mr. Tileston.
That whole program is an inspiration for sure.
That's the pride and the passion.
The pride and the passion.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Never settle for your present level of achievement. That was Mr. Tileston's saying.
And he was, don't tell me, his primary instrument was flute.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Just saying. I pay attention. So you have a favorite song that you like to sing or no? You sing everything?
Everything. Right now I'm singing Wicked in the car.
What about icebreaker games? I'm feeling a nay.
It's like kind of a nay. I will participate in them.
Of course.
And I will be excited about it if I need to be, but I think I would prefer not to. So, nay?
Nay?
We'll say nay on that one.
Okay, fair. That's fair. How about cleaning? This is kind of a broad cleaning. Yay or nay?
I say yay.
Yeah, no, tell me why.
I don't love cleaning, but I like the feeling of things being clean after. Like, that idea of like having a clean space is always like kind of zen. So I think that's,
I'm 100% in that camp with you, right? Cleaning, because it's one of the few things you can sort of control in your life at that moment. And you feel like there's a sense of accomplishment. Yeah. It was like a Navy admiral or something that said, first thing you do, make your bed every day, right? It's make your bed.
Right.
Because it's the
you
thing
can control
you do.
that.
You can control it, and you brought out your first action of the day to completion.
Yeah, it's almost like meditative. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So
I like to put an audiobook if I'm cleaning. It's always nice to, make the cleaning more exciting. I'll listen to a book.
Like this is house cleaning or cleaning anywhere.
Leaves.
Yeah.
I guess yard work. Yeah, yard work's kind of cleaning. Yeah.
It's good, right? Mm-hmm. All right, traveling, like road trips.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, favorite destination?
Probably like somewhere in New England. I love like going up to Maine.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go up to like Portland with some friends, and it's always nice to kind of just go up and travel and put some good music on and just be together.
Do you
Yeah.
bring your,
My
woolies
reenacting
with
stuff.
you in case you want to do a reenactment somewhere along the way?
Oh, no, but you know what? I should connect that to reenacting because always, like, we'll be traveling far distances. And, like, this summer we went to Fort Ontario and Fort, oh my gosh, what's the other fort? And another fort that was also in Lake Ontario.
Okay.
And, it was like 8-hour trips. And that was a road trip I took with my friend Dylan. So, yeah.
That's fun. Now,
Fun.
Have you persuaded your husband to?
No, my husband, this is my hobby. He's
Okay.
like, yeah, like, that's so cool that you
Go on
do
your
that.
own
That's
encampment.
awesome that you do that. And I hope you have a great time. It's just not for me. You can have that.
Okay. What's the thing that what's his encampment?
Oh, he loves hockey.
Oh,
He's
hockey,
a hockey
okay.
player. Yeah.
All right. That's
Yep.
good. So
He has his thing.
His
I don't
encampment's the
go play
penalty
hockey.
box.
So he can, yeah, exactly. He can play hockey and I'll go do Revolutionary War reenacting.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. And we have one last yay or nay.
Okay.
Concerts.
Yay.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite one?
Ooh.
Your colleague
So hard.
Michelle Kinsella was
Oh,
a
she
previous
loves
guest.
Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah, she's
been everywhere.
Flew to
Vienna.
Germany to go.
I know.
Or to Austria. Yeah.
Gosh. Do I have a favorite? I have a band that I love.
What was the last concert you went to see?
I have no idea. I should know that.
Oh,
I have a favorite band called the Alternate Roots, and they're like a small local band out of Connecticut, and I love going to see them with my friends. And usually they're small venues, and they put on a great show. So that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I do like a smaller venue like that where you can sort of like be up close. And,
Yeah. Live music is so fun.
Live music is so fun, and you listen to all kinds. You listen to,
Yeah,
obviously from
except for country. I don't like country music.
You don't like country
I
music?
basically listen to anything but country music.
Really?
I know, unpopular opinion.
And when Michelle Kinsella crossed the finish line, they were playing John Denver.
I know, country road.
I guess he's kind of country.
Yeah, it's kind of country.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's not your thing.
It's not my thing. My
Okay.
roommate from college loved country music. And at first I was like, oh no, are we going to be able to be friends? We're best friends. So it was fine. But I was like, oh, country music. Just one
Wow.
thing. Yeah, I can't get into it.
What about when you played trumpet though at KP? You must have played some marches. Did you ever play the British Grenadiers March? That's
I never played it on the trumpet.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've ever played it ever. I've sang it
Oh, you
plenty of
did, yeah.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
They play British Grenadiers all the time.
I bet.
The fife and drum marching down. It's so fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well,
really
you're an
great.
inspiration. I want to thank you for being on the show. I love the warmth that you bring. The kids love you. All you bring this great energy to the classroom. How do you not?
Thanks.
Like I said, even today, just watching you run through the courtyard as though we were going to battle.
Right. The Redcoats are out.
I love
Even
it.
at the courtyard at Dunning School.
Well, one more shout out. So to Kelsey Briselli, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the Bobcast.
Thanks. This is fun.
And to everyone who tuned in to watch or to listen to the show today, thank you for tuning into that. I hope you're finding as much enjoyment as I am when having the guests on to learn about the great things that our educators, our students, our administrators are doing that you might not see in a typical day-to-day. We certainly aren't going to always see Kelsey dressed like this, although you'd be surprised. It sounds like
Maybe a
little bit
couple
more.
times a year. Yeah.
Maybe
Who
a couple
knows?
times a year. And so, of course, thanks. Shout out to Paul Boulay and to Mariah Lynette who make this production possible from the backside of the camera. So my thanks to them and to their teams and to everyone for watching. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.